Can I see a look at the camera, Jackie? Just check your exposure. Keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Thank you.
Are you getting my pants or you're not getting my pants?
A little bit at the top of the hip. I'm gonna push in.
Yeah, why?
And do a little
A
move.
little crotchy.
I'm not the judge.
Loud and proud.
Your eyes are going to the place of most contrast, and that is my pants. My mic is not on.
Are we going?
I feel like we're really late.
Are we going? Okay, Jared, we're all set. Okay, go back and start again. Okay, come up and say, okay, what's the schedule now? Most people do not say hi first.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, unless they like delay for 5 minutes. We're already a minute late. I mean, happy to go live if I mean I could talk my way through it. Well, you're getting a lot of pants on me right now. Should I get closer? What's happening?
Megan. Okay.
Should we get? Do you want me to get closer to you?
I'm gonna zoom into you.
Okay. Hey folks, we are back. It is the 2024 Prevagen U.S. Figure Skating Championships. I'm Jackie Wong. I am in the main rink today. Hey, it's practice cam time. This is the fourth of four practice cam commentaries for you. We've got the men's event right now. The men are on the ice. I hope you had a great time watching the free dance. It was a bit of a roller coaster ride, but it was there. So have a look. Here is what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 guys on the ice right now, and we are now with Jason Brown for one, who's going to come on and have an interview in a little bit after he practices, and then we've got a few other good names here, and I think if you hadn't watched the short program and you're watching the practice cam right now, you're probably looking at the names and being like, Daniel Samohin, huh? Didn't he skate for Israel? Yes, he did. He is skating right now for the U.S., and he actually skated for the U.S. back about 10 years ago, and he's back after a couple of years of being off the ice and really trying to figure out what he's going to do with his career. So really interesting to see him back. He's such a natural talent. Basically came back to the ice and played around and realized that he could still do it. And earlier in the week we saw some great triple axels and quad toes from him, and it Also, we are on the second to last day of competition. We got 2 events left, the pairs tonight and the men tomorrow. So these guys have another day for them to stew on their competition nerves, which for some people, they just want to get going, and for other people, they're like, having another day is actually a nice thing for me. Jason Brown warming up with triple loop. He loves this. He loves to warm up with 3 or so triple loops in a row. And that's actually a jump that he doesn't like at all. But he does it to warm up, and it's interesting that in competition he's less consistent with it.
The first skater is Daniel Martinez, followed by Yaroslav Pania.
Daniel Martinoff here starting us off. Not a surprise to see the first skater in a practice session not go through an entire run through. And this is we've talked about this in the past 3 practice sessions. This is called marking. Also very obvious that the skater is going to mark their run through if they've got their warm-up jacket on. See here as well, Daniel is marking both jumps and spins.
Next to skate is
I was so
Yaroslav
wrong because it's
Paniot,
Yaroslav
followed by
Paniot who's
Daniel
coming up next.
Severino.
Also not surprising because he's been warming up his triple axel, which is his probably least favorite jump. Triple axel right in front of me from Jason Brown, beauty. What Yaroslav's probably doing right now is a practice technique that or practice strategy that a lot of skaters go with, which is a second half run through. And so he's basically skated through the entire first half, and he's going to give the rest of the run through a full run through. Right when Bohemian Rhapsody comes on. Triple flip, triple loop. That's the combo that I haven't seen from him before. Jason.
Next to skate is Daniel Severino, followed by Michael Shep.
Gracie is sitting right next to me right now. And we're gonna get her on now.
Hi,
Gracie.
hello.
Hi, Gracie. Just got you on right in time for Daniel Samohin.
I know. I was like,
You're like, Daniel Samohin? Why is he here?
I was like, oh, I know him. I know him.
How are you doing this week?
Good. It's been a busy week, but I am really enjoying the skating, and I finally have time now because I'm not skating at this Nationals to go to the Boitano Lounge and loiter in the concourse. It's been quite fun.
So if you are here at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, you should see Gracie Gold loiter in the concourse. It's a good opportunity for that. You were saying earlier that it's something that you've never really done before because you're usually so focused on being, a skater. So that's a new thing for you, loitering in the concourse.
It is, especially if you have, the guys here have an evening practice. I maybe got some ice in the morning. I would just enter my bubble and, that's all I did. I didn't have time to do anything else, and I was just so focused on the skating. And yeah, I was like, oh, I've never seen the concourse really before, unless we're doing an autograph signing. But yeah, it's been interesting to see Nationals this way.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel, as I was saying, it took a couple of years off as he was kind of figuring out what to do with his. He was burned out after the last Olympics and didn't really think that he was going to come back. And like you can see in this run through some of this like just natural talent that he's got, the natural spring in his jumps, and he's working with the new coaching team. So we'll see where this goes. I talked to him the other day, and he was like taking it basically one competition at a time. I mean, as someone who's come back a few times, how do you think about something like this?
I mean, I was going to say, this story very similar to mine in a lot of ways, but he looks great. He's always been such a great natural jumper. His lift is really incredible.
And a beautiful edge on that Lutz.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And you tell, the tap is so light and the spring he gets from it.
Tell me about the tap. It's an issue that skaters and fans are always very curious about because everybody taps a different way. There are some who have a much pure, cleaner toe tap versus others who have more of a ball of the foot tap. Yours is much more of a clean toe tap. Is that just something that that comes naturally? Is it something that coaches kind of instill in you?
I think a little bit of it might be natural, but I think that a lot of it is technique, and skating makes a sound. I think if you close your eyes at a certain level, if you're familiar with skating, you can kind of tell how the jump went based on how that takeoff sounded. And that really light tap, because you want to send all of your energy on the way up. You don't want to send your energy down into the ice with a very heavy tap, unless you are, as we know, some skaters have a pretty aggressive pre-rotation, and so they use that tap differently to rotate as much as they can on the ice before they take off. But mine was always on the lighter side on a good day.
Yeah.
There were days the tap was heavy.
I mean, you got to get up somehow, right? That is one of those things. But also, I think one thing that even some of the more hardcore fans don't know is when you tap in for a Lutz, you actually take advantage of the curve of the outside edge to get some of that rip up before you get up into the air. It's not purely the action of the tap that gets you for the jump.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the magic of your toe jumps being toe loop fliplets, I think the magic happens before you tap. Sticking your toe pick in the ice is not the hardest thing we do in the sport, and in some way I feel all jumps are edge jumps because you do want to utilize, I myself sometimes probably too much, utilize that outside edge so you really accelerate yourself up.
Right. It's part of the physics of those jumps.
Yeah, and you can hear that crisp edge pull with that very light tap on a really good Lutz.
My Michael Shea on the ice for his run through. I was really wrong about Jason Brown being up next. He just wanted to get through his jumps early. I'm guessing he's gonna go through his run through with Mark's jumps only. That's a pretty triple axel. What do you think of double axel, back end double axel combos?
As a skater, it does make my job a little bit easier to do a step double axel as a combo. I certainly prefer it to, Euler sow, Euler flip or loop combos. And so, I mean, I think that they're great because of that. I think that
Philosophically, how do you feel about it?
I don't think that it should probably be worth quite the same. It's a lot harder to do a triplet triple toe instead of a triplet step double axel. However, the fact that they are worth the same,
or
I am
very
grateful.
similar.
Yeah, right. Like just a little shy.
Yeah.
I am grateful for that. I do think there's a way to make them look seamless though, so it's not one jump, take a little break, second jump, and that they flow together. I almost feel like you can use that landing edge from that first jump to kind of accelerate you before you push into the double axel.
Yeah, there's some people who are a lot better at the flow than others.
I feel a little bit you could hear on both his popped lutz and his flip the tap. I felt like there was a little bit of movement in there, and it just didn't make quite that same crisp sound.
Right, and the messier that tap happens, the more likely you're not going to get that spring because you're not interacting with the ice as cleanly as you would want to.
I think with jump technique, in a lot of ways, less is more. In general, less movement of any part of the body, including all the way down to your tap. Loop was the only jump I could hardly get myself to try it with both arms up. I don't know why, and so many people do it effortlessly. I saw him do one or two earlier that were absolutely beautiful, and every time I see it, I am still like a little bit amazed.
I've talked to people about that, the loop with the Rapon arms, right? And there's some people, like you said, it's just like natural. The people who told me that they don't like it generally tell me that they go more back onto their heel in the takeoff, and so when you bring your arms up, you feel like you're even more going backwards, and that ends up actually being pretty scary if you're kind of landing on your heel on a loop.
Typically, landing on your heel on anything
is scary. Period.
Is typically a bad sign.
Correct. Back to Impossible Dream for Jason Brown. He was saying during the press conference that he was really trying to do two different programs this year, two new programs this year versus last year where he came back and did two programs that were very familiar to him, even though they were show programs that turned into competitive programs. And so when he was at Warsaw Cup and he did two new programs, it kind of threw him for a loop, in his words.
I mean, change is hard, and if you're changing style and trying something new and it's out of your comfort zone, it can be jarring.
Tarzan is a style change for him, for sure.
He's just absolutely so good and such a hard worker that I feel like watching it, it was the first time, even second time you've ever seen him in your life, you would not know that this was a style change. He looks very, very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I've always loved how soft his wrists were. And the extension and how he moves his upper body.
Right. Everything's very deliberate.
Yeah, in skating, right, you want everything's choreographed from guards on to guards off. But just everything has weight to it. You know, everything is intentional. And yet effortless. And that's why they love him.
Intentional and effortless. Let's toe. That looked like maybe a little bit of a 2-foot. He can have a tendency to do that. Especially when he's a bit tired. That was nice.
He's always had such a beautiful flip.
Yeah. Plateau from Daniel Samohin. This program I remember watching at World, and it was just so. It was goosebumps from start to finish. Just so well done.
And sometimes I feel like it's almost boring sometimes to commenting on Jason because it's all exceptional. It's chills every time.
Yeah.
It just is, it's good. And he's good people. And I'm almost like, I don't have anything interesting to say because just look.
Yeah, just watch. We're
Yes.
gonna
and
shut
it's
up.
perfect. Yes.
Shut up for a few minutes. Now that was actually I won't shut up on this one. That if he did that in competition, that would not have been good because he did triple axel, double axel to start. Then he popped his triple axel to a double axel as a second jump, and he has a second second double axel that he puts in at the sixth element of his program, and he did it. And so if he did that exact program in the competition, he would have had that third double axel invalidated. So you can only do 2 of them. But I was mentioning earlier when he warmed up, he loves to warm up with a few triple loops, and he hates that jump. And you can see in this run through, he didn't do triple in the run through. So it's kind of like the other day when we were talking about pairs, it was like you really know which pair hates which element because they always put it last in their practice. And then single skaters is
Yeah, I
weird.
said we do it differently.
Yeah.
I like to get, like for me, I be triple sow, like out of the way first. Let's do it. It is typically towards the end of any of my performances, but I like to get it out of the way. Yep, I don't like the jump. Let's get right into it.
Which is funny because your sow is so good.
We have a long history together. Oftentimes, love and hate.
It's a fine line.
Yes, it is. We have a volatile relationship, but my sow does show up historically when I need her to.
So you see here, Liam is not really marking his elements the way that other people would, but he is watering down as a way of marking his elements. So that was supposed to have been open. There's that triple axel. The opening was supposed to have been a quad toe and then a triple axel. He went or a quad sow and then triple axel, and then he went intentionally triple sow and a double axel.
not every jumping pass is part of your journey that session. I think we've all done some marking, and sometimes we just hit him with this one with a spin.
Sometimes you're just like, I'm not feeling it right now. Now, Gracie, we're in between the short program and the free skate. I've been asking everybody this while they've come on. What was your preparation like when you had a day in between to sort of like clear your brain? The dancers were telling me, look, we have to actually shut off our rhythm dance brain and turn on our free dance brain. Single skaters are maybe a little bit different on that. What was your preparation like?
I always love to have a day between events. Historically, short programs were not always my strong suit, and I like that extra day just to remind myself that I do in fact know how to skate. I could still do a full run through on the practice, but I still have plenty of time to rest. Most people don't do that anymore, but the one and only Frank Carroll had very few rules, but one of them is when the program starts, you do everything until the end.
Yeah, no popping, no pops.
He said a fall is practice, that's warm-up. A pop is nothing.
There's Jason Brown with his, the triple loop that he hates. Also funny because in program, he puts it on a straight line versus when he warms it up on the circular in the middle. Confusing to me on that one.
Some people are extremely strict about their jump patterns, which, if you practice the same pattern every single day, this builds consistency, but I've certainly moved jumps onto a slightly different pattern if I think it'll help them behave more.
There's a loop.
It's always been interesting to me that he doesn't like triple loop because he technically is so good.
Were you ever a loop combination person ever?
With loop as the second jump, it just never was.
That wasn't your favorite jump either. You weren't an edge jumper.
I liked loop plain, but actually later in my career, the older I got, the more that I really liked loop.
Yes.
But for loop combos, I feel like naturally you are a toe or a loop person. I know some people can be both, but
It's rare.
from a very early age, very clearly was a toe person, and I've always been a toe combo kind of girl.
Yeah, I remember you were saying later on in your career, there were points when you put two loops. Is that right in the free skate? Maybe not, but it was definitely more comfortable for you. It felt like.
Yes, yeah, no. After my semi-retirement, my loop was when I had to learn how to jump again after stuff. Loop came back really, really strong, and I liked it so much more. I think I didn't like it for a little bit because when they started calling edge changes on flips very consistently, I felt like it somehow was less than that I had to do a triple loop. And yes, I've always been a toe jumper.
As in, like you felt like you were watering down your program because you were doing loop instead of flip?
Yeah, I wasn't. It just never sat quite right. But yeah, after I, came back, I really, really liked loop the older I've gotten. Not loop combos, though.
Yeah.
That's still not really my cup of tea.
There was also a time when you were doing double axel, half loop, triple sows as well. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I've been around so long, I'm like, I'm sure, undoubtedly. Yeah, we've dabbled with doing, the half looper, so the kids call it, Euler, Euler, whatever, with sow and flip. Yeah, whatever the kids are calling it these days.
Yeah,
with sow and flip, but 2 seasons ago, we had flip half loop sow as a combo, but with the step axle, rule change.
Yeah. Now you watched the men's short program too, right?
Yes.
Highlights from that from you?
I just feel like all my highlights are going to be your stereotypical answers. What was good was really, really good. I mean, Jason, I obviously have known from when I was 12 in Chicago. We both are from Chicago, and we skated together pretty frequently. And we were in 2014 Sochi together.
Yep.
So we go way, way back, and to see just to see him back here and kind of thriving is really great. I also go back with Tomoki. I remember when he was maybe up to my hip, and he was also skating in Chicago. Just to see him be like a real adult person is crazy. What about you? What were your highlights?
A number of highlights. Sam Mindra is always a highlight for me. He's such a creative skater. The heel spin that he does, just quirky things, right? Like you see a different side of skating with someone like him, someone like a Jason Brown. You're seeing kind of a different version of just, hey, I'm going to go out there and do jumps in a program. So it was great to see that. Max Naumov for me was a highlight. Just seeing, through the years, the talent that we all know he has, and for him to put it down is just it was wonderful. And then Andrew Torgashev's footwork sequence, like his step sequence, is just absolute.
No, I mean he has great knees, and I think his quality of skating is really, really good. I've always been a fan.
Yeah, we're just literally watching him do crossover drills right now of patterns across the ice, and it's like, to your point of knees, like he's digging down into those knees.
Yeah, and as I said, like the sound of skating, like I love the sounds that his skating makes. It's obviously harder to hear, in a program and in competition, but even as he was skating by, I mean, just the sounds that his crossovers finished kind of a wally. It just is that beautiful skating sound that I love so much.
It's interesting because I think people who haven't skated but have been, fans for years recognize that sound. But sometimes that sound could be a rip of an edge, but it could also be a toe pick scratch. And it's kind of more like the more you listen to that sound, the more you're able to differentiate between those two. There's more of sort of a rumble with an edge rip versus something that's more of like a tinny noise that you would hear from a toe pick scratch.
Growing up, I used to feel like one reminded me of the violin and one reminded me of the cello. That deep edge of that kind of like, I almost said earthier sound to it. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. No, you don't. No, you're right. It is an earthier sound. It's like wines, earthy wines versus, I don't know what the other one is.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, one's dry. That's I'm not a wine connoisseur, but I do know a fair amount about edges.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought one was the violin and one was the cello. And you do want that, more of that violin, but you do want that grip on a takeoff. Like that's a very appropriate time. You do want some toe pick.
Yeah.
Leaving off the heel is, especially on an edge jump, is how you would probably do a backflip, which is not what we're doing here in this practice.
No.
Yeah, that's later.
No backflips here. Although we have seen a backflip in competition this season. A few of them, actually. Joseph Klein starting our run-throughs here, and he also opting to mark his jumps, but not mark his spins. I've watched him a couple of years now. He's one of those like very hard workers, and you'll see even if he marks the jumps, he will skate the entire thing all the way through. Since
I've been in Colorado Springs, when was cleared to skate. He's on a lot of the same sessions I am. Yeah, I think he has really beautiful lines,
Yes.
and he is a hard worker.
That's just it. The comment that you were making earlier about how you don't want much movement, right? You want to get it, go into your jumps with something of a clear plan and not something that's messy. He's one of those skaters who is just always very clean and precise with all of his positionings.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And yeah, less is more, and then I mean a little bit like Jason, like everything does feel very intentional, and the softness in which, especially his upper body moves, I think he really has a lot of talent there.
I think for skating fans who've been around for a long time, the term is flailing. Dick button.
Where in some ways people weren't sure what would count or what wouldn't, and I was like, oh, we can just be so creative right now,
Yeah,
doing
like
a
difficult exit. Like,
yeah,
what
it's
is
like,
that?
well, let's see. Like
Yeah.
I typically try not to fly out of a spin,
Yeah.
but let's see what's possible. And the tap, especially in like a big piece of the music, how he just did it, and it's one of my favorites. I know a lot of us do it. You'll see one at least in most programs at this point, but they're just so nice to look at.
Ilya on right now. The thing that I usually do with his run-throughs is he doesn't always go through. I haven't seen him warm up his jump, so I don't think he's going to jump in this run-through. But you can tell what his brain is thinking about by his patterns. And a lot of people have been asking about quad axle, and that is the setup.
Yeah, and he's not afraid. I think that he probably will do one because it's Ilya and because he's incredible and
It's all his combos, so those were all to be solo jumps. Right in the camera. this step sequence has gotten so much more effective this year.
I know, I know last season, and I think a little earlier this one, I mean, he's been harped on that he is a jumper and maybe, the skating, the choreography, but I just feel like you can see the effort and the work that he's put in. I mean, that step sequence that he just did, it's so much more powerful, it's so much more effective, and it has improved a lot. And now he does quad axel too. I love that he was like, okay, fine, I'll just be better at everything. That's okay.
I'll do all the things. That was the Lutz Sow sequence that he was supposed to do there. And then there should be the setup for quad toe, triple toe. So this is, so far, the way this is looking, it's looking exactly like what we had seen in the Grand Prix final. 6 quads. Axel, Lutz, loop, Sow, toe, Lutz again, and then triple Lutz, triple Axel to end. Nothing like ending with a triple Lutz, triple Axel sequence.
Oh, I mean, what else?
Yeah, what is left to do?
Of course, like what do you mean? Of course he would end with that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he is not afraid to take risks, and I mean, he is incredible. I know maybe he's not everyone's favorite, but I mean, really watching this run through without the jumps, like I can really see how much better that component score is going to get, and that he's definitely worked on it. I'm just actually, you know what? I wish he was going to do 9 quads. Like, let's see how high a human can jump.
Just do quads and get 0 points for it because you're doing too many of them. That's fine. The one thing that I do notice with him is when he gets more into his choreography, he can get a little bit messy. We're talking about kind of like the deliberateness and cleanness of movement, and when he sort of lets go, he also lets go of that cleanness. So you saw that in the step sequence when he was doing the forward outside twizzles, where he like really just kind of ripped into it, and that was actually where he would make a mistake, and that could have been a level change right there, right, from a 4 to a 3, or at least some kind of GOE issue.
Yeah, and I mean that takes time to learn that intention, and he just is so young, and I feel like he spent all of his childhood learning how to do quads. But that's what I love, is that he's like this incredible jumper, and he can get enough points without it, and he's taking just like the integrity of skating seriously and making those improvements. And I think that being able to control, he likes to just floor it on the gas pedal, and learning to control, shifting from first to second to third, a little easier off that clutch. I think that will just come with time and experience, but if it does come, I think it will be absolutely incredible, and based on the work he's put in, I think that he'll just get better and better in that. And outside twizzles are hard.
They are hard.
The best of us.
They are hard. Forward outside, not easy. Tomoki just did beautiful triple axel. That is not a jump that he's known to do beautiful ones of. He usually gets really, really nice ones into the air, and then he really has to hold on to it. But I've seen that improve this week with that triple axel.
Yeah, I mean, the sound that that landing made, it was solid. There was no movement. He's one, I think, sometimes in his landings, as Dick Button would say, flailing, I would say, just going with the flow. And, I mean, they've just absolutely stuck.
Yeah. Max also doing a second half run through here. Triple axel, also not his favorite thing to do. That was a nice one.
I think you're an axle person or you're not. And
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That is so true.
Yes, I have a tumultuous love affair with that jump as well. I'm telling you, it's that lights out. It'll just getting a lot of them tonight.
So if there's any takeaway from Gracie today, listen to the jumps. He's a what we would call a flat-footed lander. You hear his jumps when he lands; they're very much kind of like you hear when he lands, and you hear that he hits the blade more than he hits the toe. There are some skaters who you don't really hear it as much when they land, and it actually is a much less forgiving way to land when you're landing in a more flat.
I think it's very probably unforgiving on one's knees. I do think it probably makes the tech's job a little bit easier because you know exactly where he landed.
Right.
You can see it, you can hear it. But yeah, it seems to be. I haven't seen that in a while. I'm not sure if that's just what he's always done or if that's taught. That's one of those seems to be a little bit unique to him. But again, I think technical specialists probably love him for that. Here it is, guys.
But he's also one of those skaters because he's so used to landing like that if he is on a quarter, he will fall. Right, because that the skaters who do the more toe pointy landings are the ones who are more able to just curve out of a quarter.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a much softer landing if you go. Yeah, if we land really kind of on that bottom toe pick and absorb that landing through your ankle and knee. However, you know, I probably fell somewhere in between. I was never that good at landing under rotated jumps, and I call those falls those fat quarters because it is a solid blade followed by a smash.
Yeah. And your ankle feels it afterwards too.
My everything feels it.
Andrew's one of those who, when he goes all out, he's still very precise in his positionings. Like you don't usually see him trip on step sequences because of that.
Yeah, no, he's precise. Yeah, he's very, very precise.
Oh, I didn't realize there was an air guitar. There was an air guitar here.
Oh.
I think he just heard me say it too.
They have a little razzle dazzle. Wow.
Yeah. He told me earlier in the season he came into the season with a lot of aspirations in upping his technical, in finally really doing well in international competitions, and he he started off the season really well and then just got injured. And he actually said he was like a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know I was going to come to Nashville. So for him to be here and doing run throughs like this is
It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Back to the Sal. I mean,
that's a win, I'd say. But you could tell he really wants to get that quad toe in there.
yeah.
I thought he was underscored on the short, especially in the components.
Yeah, I mean, I expected a little bit higher, and I certainly think he deserved higher. The world of judging is sometimes difficult.
I was wondering what adjectives you would use for that. Looks like Will's next.
Next to skate is Will Ennis, followed by Toluki Watashi.
Will is a skater who has all kinds of potential in just the spring of his jumps, his sort of abandon in throwing himself into the air for those jumps. Like he's very fearless. I mean, especially after breaking your leg, to still be that fearless is a testament to how much he's been able to do in the past. It's a combination you don't see much or at all. Quad toe, double axle, double axle. Tomo P hitting a quad toe after doubling a whole bunch of them right before. All right, Ilya, you're messing with my brain all the time. Quad lutz, half loop, triple flip, which he doesn't
That'll do it.
Which he doesn't do in competition. He will do them in practice, like he's gonna go and throw it into the free skate, and then in the free he goes in half loop, triple sow instead.
I think that his memoir will be called "Why Not," just as like
Why
as I
not?
can.
Yeah, why not?
Why would you do a quad lutz user flip like? Because I did, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I think he's setting up for quad axle now. I don't know who he was nodding to, but he nodded. So the quad axle's coming.
I just think probably to the skating gods.
Yeah.
I've always really liked Will's lutz.
Yes. It's a beautiful, like, natural knee bend into it. Yeah, same with the flip.
I sometimes when I'm teaching, I have probably weird to say out loud, but I would like 2 videos of his lutz because I use them to teach because I really, really like them.
There it is. Just messed up. We were turned the other way. Quad axle, step out from Ilya.
Where's the instant replay when you need it?
There is none because there is no camera on that quad axle. It's okay, but we're here to bring it to you in voice. I'm sure somebody in the audience has it.
Undoubtedly,
Yeah.
yes. I will look it up on Instagram, but I think he's gearing up to do I'd say at least 2 more.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that so confidently. But that was absolutely 2 more.
One more here. Quad axle. Beauty. Ooh. Ooh. That's how I feel about it. He's like, oh, I landed it, fine, whatever.
We just gotta play it cool.
Yeah, play it cool.
Next to skate is Tomoki.
Will's one of those skaters who, if he can figure out how to control those landings, I think that's going to help him so much because, I mean, he's losing all kinds of GOEs because of the messy landings, but he's got it all there. It's like, it's all ready to go.
No, I absolutely agree. I hope to see as the season closes up and through next one, yeah, just working on putting all of those pieces together at the same time and just, yeah, a little smoother connecting everything. But I mean, again, he still is, you're going to get more points saving those landings on a messy jump.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So, you know, he will, no matter how that first jump comes down, I know he can do a triple toe off it. What kind of triple toe? Did he do another one?
No, that was triple X, triple
I
axle.
really wanted to be right.
Beautiful axle from Hiwatashi. I mean, Tomoki's axle has been looking good this week. You see his tapes, his skates being taped. That's actually something that a lot of skaters do with their boots, and a lot of the times it doesn't even have to be like a broken down boot for you to tape it. It is literally a matter of feeling like your boot is secure. So some skaters will basically tie their boots as tight as possible, and then on top of that, put a bunch of duct tape on top. Did you ever duct tape your skates? White duct tape?
Yeah, I mean, I think with with like a leather boots, I think taping, and even when they are breaking down, like can definitely make more sense.
Yeah.
I taped for a little bit when I was competing. I went through a phase where I could only skate if I had the world's longest laces, but they looked ridiculous. But no, with Adayas, since they're a synthetic boot, duct taping wasn't really something that we do. I know a lot of dancers or pair skaters will tape it because they're skating next to somebody else that also has skates and blades on, and we don't want any mishaps.
Yeah.
I just really like Will's Lutz so much.
Tomoki having a very strong run through right now. Looks like one quad for him here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got one more jumping pass left that I don't know if he's going to do. Looks like he's done for the day. Quad sail from Ilya. And off camera here, Andrew drilling triple Lutz, triple toes. Will also drilling triple Lutzes.
Man after my own heart, I would do exactly the same.
You and your triple Lutzes. This has been a very, very nice practice group.
has. I mean, it's been solid. They've been diligent. And I just see everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's going crazy. They're just simply doing their job. And it's been pretty good. We've seen a lot of good things from really all of the guys.
Which you didn't know what was going to happen coming in. So we're gonna take a short break while we set some stuff up, and we will be right back. This was a fantastic practice session. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel great. I feel like all of these guys looked super, super strong. I mean, we saw a quad axle. So that's, I mean.
Just one, though. Not as many as we thought that we would see.
I hate being wrong. Especially when it comes to how many quad axles I'm going to get to see today. But the one that I did see was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you're going to get to see one more in the free skate. Oh, that's tomorrow.
Maybe I'll be right tomorrow. We'll see two tomorrow.
I forgot. All right. We'll be right back, and Jason Brown will be joining us very soon.
Competitors, there is approximately 1 minute remaining in this practice session. Competitors, this practice session has ended. Here will now be our next rehearsal. All of our practice sessions will change again will be
Hey everyone, the Zamboni's on. That means I've got an interviewee. Jason Brown,
Yay,
everyone.
Jason! Yay!
We are in very tight quarters right now, so all I'm going to be doing is kind of like sitting back. And all right. If you're just joining us, we're in the middle of a practice session, but the Zamboni's on, and there's a lot of stuff going on around us. An Olympic pair skater was patching the ice earlier as well.
The one and only Mark Ladwig.
Mark Ladwig
goes on almost every Zam break to patch up the ice for fun.
He's such a skating
because
nerd.
He cares,
yes.
and he is, and we love him for that.
Yes, exactly. All right, Jason, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. This is so cool. From analyst to reporter to interviewer.
Isn't that crazy?
This is a commentator. Like, Jackie, you do it all.
Amazing. I mean, you do it all, really.
Oh.
I mean, Gracie and I were talking about you, obviously talking about you doing the run through, and Gracie was like, I don't really have anything to say about Jason because everything he does is just like
it was
extraordinary.
Effortless. It was perfect. I thought, I don't have a lot of really riveting commentary, guys. It's a breath of fresh air, and it's exquisite as always.
Fine.
What do you want me to say? It was fantastic. You're fantastic.
You're too kind. That is how I feel when I watch you skate.
Okay, now this is just a love fest between the two of them.
No, it really is. You obviously know. You've seen her.
I mean, yeah.
She floats. She flies. She's magic.
Was that like a Firebird joke? Because that was like a great pun.
She squats. Bing.
Yeah, but you have nice feet, though. Everything from skating skills, spin steps, and such great feet. Frank used to say that. Look at his feet. Dear, look at his feet.
Look at his feet. Exactly.
And now look at yours. No, but you're absolutely...
See the difference between your feet, please.
That's what skating looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, we were talking about your free skate and how you've gone back to the old program. I was not particularly articulate about how you went back to your program. So tell us about that and the decision this year.
Great question. So I went back to last year's free skate. It happened in December.
Okay.
We made the decision mid-December. I was training with my choreographer Roheen Ward, and I'd skated the Tarzan program that I was working on. Skated it clean, but there was a lot of changes that we had made to make it doable for this time of year. So it obviously changed a lot since he choreographed it. And I remember finishing this program and he was like, awesome, but like he felt the changes had made the integrity of the program worse.
Oh.
And he was like, okay, I want to just work on a couple other things. And I looked at him and it was the first time really. And I said, Roheen, this is what I can do right now. Like, this is kind of where my limit is at this moment. And he just felt like it wasn't up to the standards that I'm capable of.
You were like, how many more changes can I take
exactly.
before?
I was like, I'm telling you, this is like my 9th iteration of this program that like Tracy and I have worked on, and I wish I had more time to develop it. And so hopefully I can, my hope, obviously I don't know what the future holds, is that I will return to it. But with the timing that we had and the schedule that I had laid out for myself, it just wasn't doable. So that's why we went back to my old free skate.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the last couple of seasons of you kind of doing the late career Michelle Kwan move of I'm only going to basically just do nationals and worlds? Like, how has that been?
It's interesting. There are times where I feel like I tackle it head on and it feels great and I feel confident. I remember being at Worlds last year and everyone around me was like, one more event. Like, it's just that feeling. The skating season's coming to an end. You know what it's like. I felt like you know what it's like, too. Having covered the whole season. Everyone was so tired, and I just, was bouncing off the walls. It, felt like it just, felt like it was the beginning of the season type of feel. I didn't feel like I had trained all year, and, I'm so exhausted. So that part was really cool. The difference this year that I kind of tried to navigate was I did set out to do 2 new programs. That last year I didn't. Last year, both programs that I had were 2 pieces of
This was what I was trying to articulate in a not very good way.
No, last year were 2 pieces that I had for a couple of years. I had that short program I did as a show for for 3 years before I actually used it as a short, and then my free skate was also a show program first. So the transition from then going to competing at a U.S. championships, at a world championships with those pieces felt very natural.
Yeah.
This has not been the same smoothless, effortless transition, but it's been so fun to kind of navigate and figure out, because it is the first time that I've done this, and I'm trying to kind of carve a new path. And so, yeah, learning along the way and adapting along the way as well.
Always fun. Okay, it's 2024.
Crazy.
10 years ago.
Did you say crazy or Gracie?
Gracie?
Both crazy. Gracie, we were there together.
That's what I was going to say. Like 10 years ago, you were both here and you were like, we're going to the Olympics. Like, think back to that. Like, you had long hair.
I mean,
You weren't as blonde back then, maybe? I don't know. You're more platinum right now than
she
you
was
were.
she was blonde, red lip.
Yes, no,
Very
we're
dress,
in our peak.
red dress.
Grace
Very-
Kelly is like what we were going for.
Very red lip.
Yeah, very approachable.
Oh, she was a star. She is a star. But like,
think back to that.
It was crazy. I just remember, obviously the women unfairly are always done before the men. Like, the men are last, and like, I'm just like, I just like remember wanting so badly to like celebrate and scream and cheer for the women, and obviously the pairs and dance, because that whole team was announced the morning of the men's free skate.
Oh, right.
And so like, and I just remember like, don't look at them, don't look at them, don't look at them, focus on your event, focus on your event. And so like, obviously the free skate went well. I ended up making the Olympic team, and so then I was finally able to like celebrate. Not only in my head at the time, I was just like, I wanted to celebrate for them. And so the fact that I got to celebrate with them, like the biggest bonus and excitement ever.
Gracie, what about you? Like, what do you remember from that?
I mean, I want to have the same level of golden retriever energy that you're bringing to this right now. But for those of us that are, I guess, a little bit more cynical, I mean, I remember feeling an extraordinary amount of relief. And I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like, I'm an Olympian now. Oh, thank God. And to be able to, it was so much nicer watching you guys once we were already done, and to watch you and Jeremy. You guys were going to be on the team, and it was absolutely incredible. And the next like several weeks were just absolutely wild. But yeah, you finish a free skate, and then a few weeks later you're in Russia and you're an Olympian, and it was jarring, but in like the best way.
Yeah, I do think that's the craziest part about with like Olympics, because we find out right after nationals.
Yeah.
It is so jarring, because it's like suddenly it's not like, oh, you're preparing. Obviously, you're always preparing for the Olympics or the next stage, but especially for your first Olympics going into it, it's like you're just like, let me get to nationals, like let me compete, and then like you finish nationals, and it's like the next day you're like, here's all the paperwork. Here's all the
they
things
bring you
that
they're like, here's the binder.
Yeah, here's
right.
the binder of these are the clothes. You have to make your sizes. You have to like, here's your
that's
flight.
so
We're going to
fun.
Munich.
Yeah,
Okay, and here's your train from like where you're like, okay. They're like, and everything you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, in just like 2 weeks, if you could just do it again in Russia in front of millions of people, I think that would be awesome. But it is, you just kind of like keep riding that high. But yeah, I had your same joy, but also a little bit, I was like.
Less golden retriever. More
a little bit less.
Siberian
No
Husky.
more seasoned star.
Seasoned star. I don't know what kind of dog that is.
Like no. No star. No dog. Just like, she was just a seasoned, composed star.
Yes.
Oh, what breed is that?
What kind of breed is seasoned star?
No,
okay.
I'm probably more a cat than any.
No, that's true. Yeah. Okay. We could talk all day.
I love. Oh.
But
That is true.
The
That is true.
third group is on, and I have to go. Okay, Jason, you have to go. You need to go take a nap or whatever you do afterwards.
I appreciate that.
Go rest.
Thank you.
Go just
We
be
got-
joyful. I always picture you in your hotel room, even just like curled up in your bed at night. I was like, this is how Jason sleeps, just like.
It's like that.
Crazy.
All right. Okay. So,
Go radiate joy.
Oh my God, stop it.
Jason,
I'll be here to
You
keep
as well.
everyone real.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
And Gracie, thank you for joining me. Are you staying? Or are you going? What do you want to do?
I think that I have to leave because I have an autograph session that the time was printed incorrectly, and it's actually 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna. Gracie Gold is going to go sign some autographs, and I got to go back to this group of men so I can go and talk about more things.
And
so
I gotta go so I can skate tomorrow.
Yeah,
Rest
exactly.
up, go to bed, skate
Yay,
tomorrow.
Jason.
Yeah, enjoy the next group of men.
Thank you
Thank you,
both,
guys.
and I will be back in just a minute. And we're back, and there's 1 minute left in the warm-up. I hope you enjoyed that. That was so fun. Gracie and Jason doing their thing. They're so fun to talk to. And I hope you all enjoyed Gracie being with me for the last group and a half. I'm going to be solo for the rest of this, but not solo because there are 5 guys on the ice right now warming up and getting ready for their run-throughs. Camden Pulkinen, the one who is in medal contention right now, out of this group, although, you know, it's the men's competition, so you never know what's going to happen. Goku Endo had one of the skates of his life, maybe the skate of his life, in the short program. He's been looking so good this season, really under the radar. Nobody really, outside of domestic events has really heard of him. He had one international this season, but or maybe 2, but not a household name, but really did well for himself yesterday and really could make a splash today. A few other folks here. Kai Kovar is going to start us off here with the run-throughs. Did not realize that I was going to hear another remake of Fix You. figure skaters are just gonna find all the movements. His program here and looking around, lots of it's kind of like the energy of the last group that we just saw. Lots of just steady, kind of practice training, but also you can tell the energy of competition is there because they're all very intently doing every single jump, and I have not seen that many misses. Jimmy Ma has been looking really on so far. Another quad toe from Jimmy Ma. 2 triple axels, 2 quad toes, all of them impeccable.
Next to skate is Jimmy Ma.
What's funny about being here, little inside baseball for you, being here in basically the judges area doing this commentary is that a lot of the skaters have been using me and formerly Gracie next to me as kind of like a judge because there's a lot of you gotta go and look at look at the judges and establish eye contact with them. So it's been kind of interesting doing that. I'm like, should I keep eye contact right now? All right, here's Jimmy Ma. He's been skating a lot better in practice than he has been this season in competition. And there you go, another quad toe. This is the first time I've seen him look comfortable this week, though. It's sort of that swagger that maybe we've been missing from him this season. And this is a new program for him, Phantom of the Opera. We really have not seen him be that comfortable with his jumps. Maybe all season. It's a good sign for him. Jimmy Mize is one of those skaters who you often see how he's going to perform in competition based on his practices. Very reliant on the reps and the confidence in the reps. Triple loop, his least favorite jump. This will be our last live commentary for practice camp for this competition. Another one. I mean, this no joke. This is the best we've seen him all season and all week here. The problem that Jimmy has had this season has less been about kind of an axis issue with his jumps. In the past, it's always been the axis that's kind of made him make mistakes in competition. This season, he's looked really good in their position, but the checkout has not been there. And by checkout, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, checkout is how fast you come out of a jump, and there's a lot of training that goes into that, because it's one of those things where your foot hits the ice and you got to get that other foot out to land, and if you don't have that split-second reaction, you're gonna step out, you're gonna put your hand down, you're gonna fall. Like, that's usually what happens when you're like, oh, that jump looked perfectly fine. Why did they make a mistake? It is split-second timing. That's what's going on with it. But you can tell here with that run through, very much wanting to drill that quad toe and those triple axos. Those have been the jumps that have given him issues all season.
Next to skate is Samuel Lindrum, followed by Anthony Palmer.
All right, if you haven't watched Sam Vindra skate, you should. The uniqueness of his movements, the shapes that he makes, the choreography, everything. He's such a talent. That's the hardest jump that you're going to see from him. He's been working on triple axel for a few years, and it hasn't really materialized. And this week he was saying that he almost didn't come to nationals. He was thinking about withdrawing because he came in injured, and he's skating a bit injured. Polkadot you saw in the back there go by with the triple axel. it's moves like that you just saw there. There's just such a comfort with being in counterbalancing positions that it's partly core, right? But also partly just his comfort level with his blade and the positioning of his body, and it's just it's very cool when you see that kind of skating. Yeah, that's cool. Knee slide with a lifted leg. Not easy to do. These knee slides, as much as you see them and they look easy, they're deceptively difficult. And deceptively difficult, not the slide itself. Like anybody can go and slide on their knees and kind of do something with it. But the thing that you should watch when skaters do knee slides is how much control they have of certain positions. That really gives you a sense of the quality of that knee slide and how much they are actually using their core to control where their body is on it, because they generally kind of whip themselves into these like knee slide spins. Camden Polkinen hasn't warmed up the quad toe yet, so not doing it here, just marking it. The thing that impressed me yesterday, he's one of the skaters that really does skate on adrenaline. And I say that because I want to give you an example of this week where I had not seen him fully rotate a quad toe in practice. And he comes into the short program and he does a beauty of a quad toe. It's one of those sort of just like that rush of adrenaline gave him that extra energy to get that extra quarter rotation to hit the jump in competition. Those split-second timings of run-throughs that you often see in these practice sessions. I'm not sure if you all saw it during Camden's opening of the step sequence just now, but Jimmy Ma was right in front of him as he was going into the step sequence, and Jimmy saw him out of the corner of his eye and got out of the way real quick. Yeah, just be on alert all the time. Jimmy cannot miss another triple axel. I have not seen him miss a jump yet in this session. The Lutz and the flip for Camden have improved a whole lot since he went to Alex Johnson and Raf. The access has improved, the tap has improved, a lot of things have improved on those two jumps. You see those knee slides. You see the way that he controlled each of those turns. That is so important and so much harder than it looks, because it is really hard to, when you don't have that much friction, to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna turn really aggressively a half turn and actually just like stay there on that half turn. It's a lot harder than it looks. The key for Camden tomorrow, if he's going to make it onto that world team, is he's not only got to rotate that quad toe, but he has to not pop. And that's been his problem the last few seasons is his triple axel there. Probably going to end up marking all of his jumps. Nope. No, yes. He's going to mark all his jumps. That also, a first skater in the group marked run through and a last skater in the group marked run through. Those are not uncommon to see, especially on a rest day. Today's a rest day, technically. I was wrong on that one. He's marking a few things. Triple axel, under-rotated on that one on the fall. A lot of people ask about under-rotations and how you spot them. One thing that a lot of people like to use as a proxy is snow flying off the blade or the toe pick. Not always reliable to just look at the snow, because sometimes, actually a lot of the times, you can land perfectly fine and have snow go off the toe pick because you're very far up on your toe when you're landing, and oftentimes you see that as a lean forward when someone lands, and it's a perfectly rotated jump. The thing that I look for generally is how the hips move when someone lands a jump. you see there, you actually saw a good amount of snow that came off of his blade. That was a perfectly clean jump. And the snow came as a result of the way that his blade, the way that his toe pick came down onto the ice, and the way that his blade sort of cut the curve.
Competitors who are approximately 11 minutes remaining in this practice session.
Interesting, a drill that I don't know if you saw that on the cam, but a drill that Camden Pulkinen just did was back power pulls into a back outside edge into his triple axel. He actually takes quite the curve on his right back outside edge into the triple axel, and that power pull drill helps him really set up for the stability of that. And actually not easy to do. And it's funny because some of the transitions that you see from jumps, things like, there are some skaters who will do a forward inside bracket as a setup for their axle jump. As much of actually a transition that is into the jump, that is also actually a drill that skaters will do into that jump, because again, it stabilizes the check of the body before you go into the jump. It's hard because doing a more refined bracket into the jump is harder than just literally setting up from a back outside edge. All right, folks, we're winding down to the last few minutes of practice cam commentary for the 2024 Prevagen U.S. Figure Skating Championships. I've been so excited to be here with you all on Peacock, and also just being here at Nationals. If you all have not had a chance to go to a live figure skating competition, really, I encourage you to go. It's a different experience than watching it on TV. It is a different experience just taking it all in, especially with the audience. This has been an incredible audience so far. I'm hearing more sold out sessions today and tomorrow. So it's just, it's amazing to be in this atmosphere and part of this. Also just amazing to be with you all. Amazing to be with you all here in Columbus, Ohio, because it's a thrill to be able to do this, and I hope you all have had a fantastic experience with this entire, just this entire thing. I'm on the Jumbotron right now. It's right there. An incredibly exciting experience, and also just this has been, as I've said, an experiment, right? We hope this has been really useful to you all in the audience, both here and at home. And, if you like practice cam commentary, tweet me, tweet US Figure Skating, tweet Peacock. Let us know. Give us your feedback. It's really, would love to do this again, would love to continue this kind of coverage for the figure skating audience. So we're going to go back to the wide shot in a little bit, but thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to all of my rambles, and hope you've learned one thing or another from both me and my really fun set of guests this week. I'm Jackie Wong at Rocker Skating, and I'll see you on social media.
Competitors, there is approximately 1 minute remaining in this practice session. This concludes the practice session for championship in Group B. There will now be a